Hello viewers, you are watching special program on Radio Metro Mail. In this beautiful summer in downtown Toronto, today we have a very special guest with us, Moniquea Marion.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Moniquea is a Toronto-based actor, comedian and writer. She writes and she inspires people to create content. She is a content creator. And we are very proud to mention here that she has been with Radio Metro Mail in last quarter, and she hosted a program which inspires a lot of volunteers and Radio Metro Mail staff and the other audience as well. Today we have Moniquea Marion with us. Moniquea, you are most welcome to our radio program, and it's a pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
So if I like to ask you or request you to introduce yourself to our audience, so how would you like to introduce yourself?
I think you did a great job. No, absolutely. You hit everything. So yeah, I'm an actor, I'm a comedian, I'm a writer, and I think you hit all of those things. So. And
you have been quite busy these days because the Fringe Festival, and so can you just tell us something about what you are doing these days?
Yeah, absolutely. Right now I'm in the thick of Fringe Festival. So the Toronto International Fringe Festival. I'm halfway through my run. I have a one-woman show called Glorious Loser. And it is a compilation of some of my favorite comedic characters that I've created. Back in 2016, I did a web series on YouTube called Moniquea Marion 365. And I created a brand new character for every day of 2016. So I made 365 characters. And out of that, I took a handful of my favorites that were really great for stage. And then I also created another handful, brand new, for Fringe. So I'm doing 25 characters in 55 minutes.
Oh, that's great.
It's a lot of fun. It's a really high energy show. It's really silly, and it's full of laughs.
And this time it will continue until the whole July, or?
No, we wrap up, Fringe wraps up on the 15th, but my last show is on the 14th.
On 14th,
yeah.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
And as I remember that Now magazine, they have featured you, or they have nominated you for the Best Female Improviser in 2014 and
15. Yes, yeah. 15. I was a nominee, so I was a contender to be, I guess, the best female improviser in Toronto for 2014 and 2015, and it was a great honor. Yeah, it's nice to be recognized like that. It's amazing.
That's great.
Yeah.
So, what are the interesting things in your work that inspires you or keep you, going forward?
Yeah. Honestly, everything.
Yeah.
There's so many people in my life. My husband's also a creative. He's a filmmaker. He works really hard. He gets up every morning and he continues to, push himself and to create projects for himself. Look at you, what you're doing. I mean, that's amazing. You have a family to take care of. You travel back and forth to Bangladesh. You manage to have this radio program, this radio station, and you manage all of these people, and you stay creative. It's everywhere. Everyone, I hate to say the word hustling, but everyone's hustling. And when you see everybody like really going for it, that's inspiring.
So since you're talking about the creativity, creative work, so last quarter in Radio Metro Mail, you hosted a program. So could you please tell us something for our audience, that what was the theme of the program and what did you do? What was the issues you focused on those?
Yeah. So the program that I did for you in the last quarter was called Fuck Followers. And it was based off of a pod camp session that I hosted back in the beginning of 2017, which was talking about creating art for the sake of creating. So basically it was, how do you say? I'm at a loss for words. Let's edit this out. Yeah. Okay, let's start again. That's right. I did do a radio show for you in your last quarter, and it's called Fuck Followers. And the motivation is to basically create art for the sake of creating. So all of my episodes, I think I did 12.
Yeah, you
12
did 12
episodes. Yeah. And each one sort of had the same thing, but different things. So for instance, I started off talking about my own personal experience and doing the web series in 2016 where I did 365 character videos and how that really burnt me out. And the whole process of trying to gain followers was exhausting. And a lot of people want that, but a lot of people can't get that, and they think if they don't get that, that they've failed. Whereas I'm trying to tell people that don't rely on how big your following is. Just create for the sake of creating, because you can. And there's so many people that feel stuck because they have an idea and they don't know how to get that idea into the thing, right? Into the physical finished product, whatever that is. So my show that I did with you was hitting on different elements of how you can get started, looking at different examples of people that have done it themselves. It's very DIY, so do it yourself, so that people don't feel intimidated to create, because everybody has creativity within them.
And in often we see that people, they don't understand the inner strength of their, that they can really do many things, but because of many, they do not have that confidence on them. So that's why they don't come forward and do things.
Right, and a lot of that confidence also isn't there because they think they have to be a YouTuber or a social media influencer, or they need to have a lot of money to do it, or they need to have the right equipment, and that's not it at all. Everybody starts from somewhere,
That's great. So we'll talk about the creativity more, but I would like to request you the location where we are now recording.
Yes.
So this is called the Distillery District, right?
This is the Distillery
District. Can you
District.
just give us some idea about this location, because I can hear a lot of noise here.
Okay.
So if our audience can get some idea about the location where we are shooting.
Sure. Well, we're in downtown Toronto. It's called the Distillery District. It's close to the St. Lawrence Market area, and I'm not an expert on this area, but I believe probably 100 years ago or so, this used to be all distilleries and factories. And so they've made it into like a really cool sort of trendy shop and eating area where people can walk around, and there's cobblestone. They have a beautiful Christmas market in December. And then it's a short walk away from the St. Lawrence Market, which was down closer to, I guess, where the water is. And a long time ago, they actually had fire, and it took out a bunch of buildings, and so they rebuilt that.
And summer is quite vibrant here, right, in this location?
Absolutely, yeah. We were in a patio. Actually, we're not supposed to be on this patio.
Yeah.
We just kind of positioned ourselves here to shoot this. So yeah, there's tons of patios, and then there are breweries, there's pubs, there's restaurants. So people come, they walk around, they take pictures, because it is really beautiful. It's very family friendly, and there's great shops.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So let's come back to our creativity. You were talking about creative work.
Yes.
So what are the most important things for the creative work? Those, I know that you inspire people to be in this, the creative world, so they should create things on their own. So what are the most important things, those who want to be creative or want to be in the creative world? So do you have any recommendation, suggestion for them that, the important things they should remember?
I think the most important thing to remember is to just do it. Whatever your medium is, if it's writing, painting, sculpting, if it's acting, if it's, doing podcasts, learn about how the people that you like in the industry got started. And so if that means taking classes, if that means going online and learning through YouTube tutorials, it's all there. So just do it. Don't be afraid to take that first step, and don't be intimidated by what you may think that you have the lack of tools to do it. You don't. Everybody has everything right inside of here.
That's right.
And all of the physical tools are just the extras.
Thank you, Moniquea. So I think one of the worries that quite often comes to the mind of the creator, particularly those who are new in this field, they think that what happens if I don't get it right, or if it goes wrong, or if I get the bad review. So they don't want to take the stress of that kind of, So have you ever faced this kind of, situation where you have got bad review, and how you have handled that?
Absolutely, I definitely have. Anything you put online is open for the world to judge.
That's right.
Whoever finds it, and everyone has an opinion, and it's so easy for somebody to sit behind a computer and critique your work, and you never have to know who they are because they have an alias. Yeah, the first few times that happened to me, I took it very personally, and my immediate reaction was like anger, you know, like, what do you could have just not said anything if you didn't have anything nice to say. But then you realize, like, okay, that's just like that's one person that feels that way. But
there are many other people, those who haven't shared their
Sure.
thought or feedback, but
yeah,
might
sure.
like it.
Or
Yeah.
there's just people that you know, maybe they don't like it, but they appreciate the fact that you are working on something and you're putting it out there. Not everyone's going to love your work. In fact, probably not a lot of people will like your work. But to be doing it for yourself is of the utmost importance, right? If you like your work, that's all that matters. If it's not hurting anybody, then and you like it, then great, go forward. But when it comes to reviewers, I mean, I know a lot of people stress about it in theater and acting. Again, a reviewer is one person.
Okay.
And it sucks when it happens because that's what people look to. But at the end of the day, if you know that you went into that and you did the best that you could, then that's all you can do. And you just have to brush it off and also realize that there's going to be a lot more bad reviews.
Yeah.
Because the more followers that you gain or the more people that see your art, the more people are going to come out of the woodwork and not like what you do because you're becoming more successful.
Well, thank
You know what
very
I
much.
mean?
Yeah,
So
I
you just have
understand
to
that.
you just have to
Yeah.
do what makes you happy and cater to yourself and know that there's going to be enough people out there, even if it's a couple of people that like it, you know, and that's great. You've given something to somebody.
Thank you very much. Dear viewers, we need to take one lesson from Moniquea, that, you know, when you create something, you should not expect always that, you know, your work will be reviewed nicely or, you know, good. You will get always a good review.
Mm-hmm.
So you should not always think about it. So if you like that what you are doing, you should keep doing that.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So the other aspect, you know, so when I was introducing you, I mentioned that you are actor, comedian.
Mm-hmm.
So being a woman and at the same time you are comedian,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you do the comedy show. Do you see, even in Canada, even in Toronto,
Mm-hmm.
do you see any stereotype thinking about women into this business? I mean, in comedy?
Oh yeah.
So how does it, you know, and how did you overcome that?
I still am. I mean, we still have a lot of battles to fight. You know, there's still huge comedy festivals that are dominated by men. There are still huge film festivals that are dominated by men, where there are women creating so much content that can easily be put out there. And I could say the same for people of color. You know, same thing. Like, they're also creating. And there are movements happening, but you know, it's disappointing when you see really big festivals and it's like, oh, there's only 4 women headlining. You know, when you know there's so many talented women that could easily have filled the spot of that man. But
so is it the women, they are not coming forward, or there is no space for women? What do you think? There are a lot
well,
of...
there's always space for women. It's a
Yeah.
matter of, it's a choice, right? Whoever is organizing that, you know, that's a choice that they're making. So, I mean, the community is chock full of really great, you know, female directors, writers, actors, comedians. But it's just a matter of whoever is in charge is not filling that quota of like a 50-50. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So we're there. We're here. I'm here. You know, look at me. I'm one of them, right? And then, so yeah, it's still a thing. I wish we were at the point, but I think eventually we will be at that point where all of the media will see, you know, equality among men, women, people of color.
That's right. So you, being a woman and being a comedian,
Mm-hmm.
you are very much visible in the media, particularly the social media. So what about the other women? You're saying there are many other women, they are very creative, but for some reason they are not visible, or they do not you know, announce their existence in media, in social media particularly,
That they don't announce their
or
existence?
they don't exist in these. There are people, there are
yes,
women,
yes.
creative women,
Mhm.
even in acting or comedy,
Mhm.
but for some reason we don't see them
Mhm.
on media. So,
Mhm.
do you have any recommendation or any suggestion for them? That
To get into social
yeah,
media?
That's right.
Yeah, start an account. You never know what could happen with a Twitter account or an Instagram account, a YouTube account. That's another way for you to lend your voice and your face to the world. So something as easy as that. You never know what a tweet could say, right? And that's a great way to fine tune your audience, to fine tune your own voice, depending on the pictures, the videos you want to put on. YouTube is not the only place that you can put videos. Now there's Instagram TV, IGTV, which is amazing. You can actually put like short films and videos, and that stays forever. It's not like the Instagram stories that disappear after 24 hours. There are all of these different things. There's LinkedIn, if you want a more professional, then there's like LinkedIn. And you just have to start. That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing that I can tell people. Just start, just do it. No matter how scary it is, just dip your toe in. You don't have to jump all the way in. Just dip your toe in. Great, you've got an account. Cool. Okay, great. Now you're going to make your first tweet. All right, awesome. Do you have something else you want to say? Do you want to comment about a film? Do you want to put an inspirational quote out there? Do you have something funny to write about? Just put it out there.
Thank you, Moniquea. Viewers, I know many people, those who often say that I have something in my mind, I have some plan to do, I will start very soon. But if I get something from you that this is the right time to start, you just start what you feel like or what you feel like to do right now. That's what you're saying, right?
Yes.
So since we're talking about comedy, and we are in Toronto, which is a multicultural city, multicultural environment. So do you think that comedy can really play an important role in multicultural environment?
Yes, absolutely. Comedy is such a fantastic art form in terms of being able to put a mirror to your audience's face, right? So in order to show them what's happening with the world, right now, I feel like our world is in a very divided state. And comedians have a great task at hand, and actors as well. Anybody that creates has a big job to be able to show what's right, show what's wrong, and potentially show how we can move forward and how we can all work together. So it doesn't matter what your race is. This is a good time, to be able to be that creative outlet for people that are like, I need a release, I need a comedic release, or I just need to watch something, or I want to learn about something, right? So
I think one of the interesting thing about comedy is that through a very light mood, you can convey all these serious issues. You can bring those.
Definitely, yeah. It's one thing that I do a lot with my character work is, I'm able to satirize a lot of people, whether they're good or bad. It's a way to draw attention to them in a comedic way and show the ridiculousness of it. So it's something that we take pride in.
So Moniquea, have you ever learned any hard lesson from your work or from your life that can give some idea about our audience, that how they should overcome those things?
A lesson?
Yeah.
From my own life?
From own life or your work, since you are working as a woman comedian in a multicultural environment.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's really important for you to make your own opportunities. So for myself, as an actor, I go out for a lot of mom roles, a lot of comedy roles. But I'm never going to get sent out for my dream acting role unless I create that, which is why I advocate to create, right? You write your own scripts so that you can perform in them. You do a podcast so you can get better at speaking with people or telling stories. That's what you do. So it doesn't matter who you are, and especially if you're a person of color, especially if you're a woman, especially if you're part of the LGBTQ community, then you're going to want to do that, because we have to kind of fight for those spaces. And if people aren't going to give that to us, then we have to give it to ourselves.
Okay, thank you, Moniquea. So we were mentioning that this place is quite vibrant, a lot of music, so now we can hear a lot of music.
Yes.
I think we are very close to the end of our program.
Okay.
So just to tell you one thing, that Radio Metromail, we have number of good volunteers across the world. They contribute from Bangladesh, they contribute from Australia, they contribute from USA, they contribute from Portugal, in many other cities. So they are volunteers basically. Do you have any specific message for our volunteers? Because they are creating content voluntarily.
Yeah.
If you have anything specific, I think that would be quite beneficial for our volunteers.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thank you. I know if you've been doing a lot of volunteer creative work, sometimes you're like, oh boy, another thing I'm not getting paid for. But honestly, when you put in the work voluntarily, it's such an amazing opportunity for you to be able to hone your craft and hone your voice without the pressures of somebody, paying you or expecting a certain outcome. And I think that was the biggest thing that I looked at this opportunity as, because I did have other things to do, but I made sure I gave you my word that I would do this, that I would give you a new episode every week. And in doing so, I created a volume of work now that I can move into something else. I can go and rework later and move into something else. So it's never a loss. Never look at something as a loss because you're not getting paid for it. All the things that you do is working towards a greater thing. And when you look at it that way and you continue to put the work in, when you look back 5 years from now, you're going to be really impressed with what you've done.
And so much
and
content you have created.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's the biggest thing is to just be enthusiastic about it. And if somebody wants your work and you're not getting paid, still, that's somebody that wants your work. It's not a loss.
Yeah.
Somebody is interested in what it is that you have to offer.
And even after some years, as you said, that when you will look back, you will see that so much good things you have done in the past, and that will inspire you in future as well.
Yeah, and the work ethic that you get out of, hitting a deadline and being, being accountable to your audience, that's all going to help you for when those paid opportunities come. When you have a track record and you have a portfolio of work, then it's just like volunteering in any other field. You put in the time and you get there, and then somebody's going to say, yeah, you've definitely proven yourself, and here you go, here's your money.
Thank you very much, Moniquea.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much for your time, and I hope you will continue hosting your program on Radio Metromail as well.
Thanks.
Thank you very much for joining us here
Thank
today.
you, Mom. It was a pleasure.
Viewers, thank you very much for watching our show. Hope we will bring new guests in our next episode. Until then, take care and stay well. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.